I'm gonna get started now in the interest of conserving time here. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We're gonna note for the record that the meeting is being recorded. This is a virtual only meeting. All votes taken will be by roll call. So there's Mr. Kulos. So we have looks like 9 committee members here. 1, 2. We'll have Greg. I'm going to just read them off as they're on the screen. Myself, Greg Carabine, Christine DeStazio, Joe DeLucia, Stacy Gould, Greg Balassi, Mark Kulos, Bill Hull, and Sheila Hayes here in attendance. And I think that's everybody that I thought was going to be here. So we'll get started. I'm looking for a motion for approval of the minutes from the May 16th meeting, if I can get that. Those are previously distributed by Greg Carabine. Greg, you can unmute. Everybody, in fact, unless you got a lot of background noise or something, you can unmute. We'll make it easier.
I'll second.
By Stacy Gould, thank you. And just so everybody just so what everybody knows, Catherine Rose, she's not going to be here. She's going to pick up the recording and do the minutes off of that. So,
Mark,
did you have a question?
There's a couple of corrections we need to make to those minutes.
Go ahead. What do you got?
All right. On the first page, it says cropped GIS. It should be cropper.
Correct.
All right. And then there's a phrase towards the end of one of the paragraphs there on the first page. It says better suited that the prior report. It should be better suited than the prior report.
I think that's
Those are the corrections. Those are the corrections I see.
I think that's correct. Anyone else have any other additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes?
No.
Seeing none, then we'll go roll call vote. I'm just going to call it out as I got it on my screen here. Greg Carabine.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mark Kulos.
Yes.
Christine DeStazio.
Yes.
Joe DeLucia.
Yes.
Stacy Gould.
Yes.
Bill Hall.
Yes.
And Greg Balassi.
Yes.
And roll call, I think would be, that's, what was that, 9? I gotta think, I gotta count everybody again. Used to do that for a living. Yeah, 9. So 9-0. And with 3 absentee. Oh, 2 absentee, excuse me, 2 absentee. So
Mark, I'm here. It's a yes.
oh, didn't I? Oh, I didn't call you? Oh, geez.
No.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm doing well. All right. So moving on. So review and discussion of the architectural services for Stanton and Greenville schools. I emailed everybody a revised one just literally 15 minutes before the meeting time started. So I know people probably haven't time to look at that, but that basically what Jim was just saying, if anyone was late coming in, was, I mean, what Mike was saying, excuse me, was that it consisted of the corrections from Mark Kulos and Peter. And I think they were, I know Peter's case, he had a quite laundry list, a bunch of typos, moving stuff around, and there was some questions or whatever that I don't think were necessarily I agreed with or whatever. So, and I had sent that information along to Mike also, what I thought was, not an issue. And I believe I've sent, I know I sent Peter's stuff to the group. So, and I would like, with permission of the group, I'm going to incorporate, because of the way this was handled, I want to incorporate Peter's list into the minutes of this meeting, if that's okay, unless there's objection.
That's good. Mark, one other thing that I just wanted to mention, and you just brought it to my mind. The corrections that Greg Carabine had given us were incorporated as well with regards to the schedule changes that he had asked for at the last meeting.
Okay.
As well as the spelling correction of Greenville that Sheila Hayes had provided to us. as
Yeah,
well.
no, I saw that. So you were good enough to provide a track changes document too, which I greatly appreciate. So I did notice those changes. So if you all, if you can, those of you that are able to can, if you check your email, you'll see there's two documents. One is the the revised, draft, and the other is a track changes document, but they're both PDFs. So I think the way it looked, given it a cursory, what I would call a cursory review with the changes incorporated, I think we're in a fairly decent shape. What I want to do is I want to have this reviewed by Bob Castronova, and for his approval before, as a condition of our approval before it goes out. So I think that would make, and of course, our wonderful corporation counsel who happens to be in attendance here, Mr. Michael Driscoll. Yay. So, so between the two of them, because we're going to be talking about, again, serious coinage here. And I think it's within our, we certainly should be doing whatever due diligence we can regarding that. So.
All right.
Any discussions, questions, whatever?
So
Kulos.
Mark, can I make a motion so that we can bring it on to discussion?
That would be the appropriate thing to do.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the RFP with the corrections, subject to review by Mike Castronova and
Bob
Corporation
Castronova.
Counsel.
Yeah. Bob Castronova.
Bob Castronova and Corporation Counsel.
Sounds good.
I
Was there a
second.
second by Greg Carabine? Thank you. All right, discussion.
Chairman Bencourt, I have
Go ahead.
one item. I have
Sheila
one item,
Hayes.
that I had spoken to you that I'd like to see where it says Greenville Elementary School, put the site of the former. Because it's the
Yeah,
site.
that's a good question, right? So, I mean, there is no school there presently. It's really the site of the former Greenville School, elementary school,
Correct.
right?
And there's really no street address to assign to it because at this point, we don't know which street we're going to use as a reference point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they use One Golden or something like that, or they used to, but who knows? Any opinions?
Hey, Mark, if the proposals are due on the 28th,
I was just looking for an opinion on what Sheila was talking about.
Okay.
Under discussion, if you could just give it a sec. I just, before asking Mike to go through that and change all that.
Yeah, I think you do need to put some address, architect, that's probably going to be one of the first questions that the architects ask is what's the address for the Greenville School? And I know it hasn't been determined at this time, but if you are referencing some form of address, at least to kind of guide them in the right direction.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'm looking up the assessor's map from the GIS to see if they have an address for that particular
Lot.
plot.
Mhm.
I do know in the original RFP that you issued for our services, the address was provided as 1 Golden Street.
Right. You checking that out, Mark? You said,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking it up right now.
okay. Let's give him a minute.
And just potentially to address the comment that Sheila had regarding that Greenville is going to be built on the site of the former school. If you go to page 8 on the bottom, I actually have some additional questions regarding this page, but one of the bullets as part of the master plan, a determination was made to, and then one of the items is build a new school on the site of the former Greenville Elementary School. I can add it to the rest of the RFP if that's how you guys would like it to be reflected.
Yeah,
Mark?
go ahead.
I was just
Joe?
gonna say, yeah, because naming that school will be a whole nother iteration, you know, a separate
Right.
process, right? So, you know,
Okay, I've just found it in the GIS. It's referred to as 165 Golden Street.
165 Golden Street.
And that's in the city GIS maps.
Okay.
And that encompasses the entire plot of land and all the rights of way, current, existing, and paper streets.
All right, and okay, so I think Mike will need to update. I think that would, I don't know, I think it's gonna be appropriate to, well,
Yeah.
one, the address, and two, what we're talking about, so it's clear here, we're not talking about the Greenville School, because there isn't a Greenville School.
Yeah, I will,
I know it's
I will add references throughout the document to that.
yeah, just to be on the safe
Yeah.
side here.
Mhm.
The other I think you had some questions that were incorporated in the track changes.
Yeah,
So let's, let me bring that up. And I'll share it.
I have the document. Oh, I have the document on my screen too.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you share. How's
Okay.
that?
Yeah, and then I can make changes live.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead. All right, go ahead. You should be able to share now.
Yep. Can you see it?
Yep, I
Okay.
can.
All right.
Yes.
Jesus.
I'm just gonna move to those pages right now.
Yep.
So the project description and the scope of services overview. I'm just gonna give you a brief background as to where a good amount of it came from. So this first section, the city of Norwich, the part about the geographic location and everything, I found most of that information on the internet. You know, I originally had 12 buildings on here. And some of the questions that I had, you know, I think the Bishop Early Childhood, I believe that's a center, right? Is that its formal name, Bishop Early Childhood Center?
Mark? was-
I'm not exactly sure what they call it, the street address, because I looked it up. The street address for that is 526 East Main Street.
Would you like that added?
If you want to be comprehensive.
Okay,
Well, hold on. I mean, we don't have the address for any of the others.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think,
I don't think it's,
it may not be pertinent.
And
yeah,
Michael,
we should be able to get it off the BOE site.
right.
it's Bishop
well,
Early Learning,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
It's
Bishop.
Bishop School Early Learning Center,
Bishop School,
Early Learning Center.
You should type better than I do.
all right, got that. So that's the pre-K and administrative offices. So,
Well, yeah, it's the pre-K administrative offices, pre-K. They got some administrative offices in there, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the business office and
Right.
whatnot, there's
Yeah.
up on the,
Because they're all bounced around right now. They're all located in different
oh,
places.
we're in multiple buildings.
Yeah.
all right, so it's accurate to say that.
It's accurate. Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
accurate. You're accurate.
So then the next school was the Hickory Street School, which is the adult education.
Yep.
Now, there was also a Hickory Street administrative building.
Two separate buildings.
Okay, all right,
The adult ed is 191 Hickory Street.
okay,
And the Hickory Street, the administrative offices, which used to be the Transition Academy, is, I believe, 205 Hickory Street.
okay, for the purposes of this, I don't know that those addresses, unless you guys want them included, would be relevant to the people bidding it, because they likely wouldn't have very much work at those locations.
Yeah,
Well, assuming, I would assume, other than transporting the, moving students and equipment or the actual offices to, I don't know if the bidding process would include,
Not for the architect.
no, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
that
agree.
comes towards the end when things have to be moved around.
Right, that's more, yeah, that would be more for, moving services and things of that nature.
Yeah, and Mark, when the selected architect is brought on board, we could easily give them those addresses for the other buildings, should they need any information regarding them.
So Chairman Betcourt?
yes,
The name, at
Sheila
least
is,
the name on the website says Norwich Regional Adult Education.
Okay, I'm gonna make that change. Norwich Regional,
No. Adult Education.
okay. All right, and I'm gonna take out this note. Is this the same building? Because we've just clarified that.
yeah, it's not the same building. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 30 Case Street, Norwich Transition Academy.
Yes, that address is correct, and that is the correct, let me see if that's the correct.
Yes, Norwich Transition Academy.
Okay.
So
Now,
take out
We
the
take
street.
out the 30 Case
Yeah,
Street.
take out the street.
okay,
Thank you.
yep. And now there's, the next one on the list is the John Mason School, which is central office.
Yeah,
It's
it's not the same as yeah, it's not the same.
Okay,
right, it's not a school. I mean, I know,
is there a formal name for it? Norwich Public Schools Central Office, or,
Let's see, it's just Norwich Public Schools, 90 Town Street.
it's
Yeah, you could say central
central
office.
office, and I would
Yeah.
take out John Mason,
okay,
Norwich Public Schools Central Office.
okay.
Although on the front of the building, it still says John Mason School.
Yeah,
It
carved
does.
into the
Yeah,
building.
there's a big old sign. It's that.
So then we have, John B. Stanton Elementary School. We may want to put the address for this one.
Mike, do you have the address written down? Do you have the address later in the document or no?
I don't believe so, but I know what the address is. I have it in a million places, just not in here yet.
Okay,
John M.
Stan School is 386 New London Turnpike. Stanton Elementary School.
Is it called John B. Stanton Elementary School or just Stanton?
I think it
Elementary?
is, Mark. Yeah. think it's
John B.
Stanton.
Stanton, that's
Yeah.
correct. John B. Stanton.
Yeah, these are all in Norwich, Connecticut, so.
If they don't know that, we may have other problems. It's John M. Moriarty Elementary School.
Let's see, no, it's a different
Actually,
name.
Moriarty Environmental Science Magnet Elementary School.
Moriarty.
Environmental Science Magnet Elementary School.
Moriarty Environmental Science Magnet Elementary School.
There you go.
Okay.
And that's Lawler Lane somewhere, right?
Yeah, we don't need
Yes,
to.
20 law.
Oh, no, we don't need it. We don't need it for this. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, the next one.
Thomas M. Mahan Elementary School.
It's Thomas W. Mahan.
Okay. Must have. Little
you
dislike.
had it upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas W. Mahan Elementary School, then Samuel Huntington Elementary School,
That's correct.
and then Veterans Memorial Elementary School.
I believe that's right.
Yep.
Then Uncas Elementary School,
Yes.
Waquanic Elementary School,
And
So
you pronounced it
Waquanic
right.
is actually Waquanic Arts and
Oh, that's right.
Technology,
Arts. Do they spell out and, or do they use the ampersand?
Ampersand. Technology, Magnet Elementary School.
Okay. Then we have, this should say, what, Teachers Memorial Middle School, I
Yeah,
believe?
It's Teachers Memorial Global
global, right.
Studies.
Okay,
Global
Magnet.
Studies Magnet
Magnet
Middle
Middle
School.
okay. Then we have Kelly Middle School.
Dean,
That's a STEAM.
Kelly Steam Magnet Middle School.
And then we have Hickory Street Administrative Building.
Is that the same as above?
That's what I'm trying to confirm. Is this Hickory Street Administrative Building the same
It's a
as?
separate building from the
Yep.
From the adult
adult
ed.
education.
separate
But
buildings.
it's,
No,
but
no,
it's
no,
the central office, right?
No, no,
No,
Not
no,
No, it's administrative offices.
Okay, so there's three areas where there's central office, there's administrative offices at Bishop Early Learning Center, and there's administrative offices at the Hickory Street Administrative Building.
yeah,
yes.
Okay,
Yes, and there may be offices scattered, facilities, whatnot, in other locations too.
okay, I don't
but we're not worried about that.
know that that'll really be pertinent at this point, but I think that list is good, so I'm gonna take the highlights off of this. And on the next page, there's just a couple more things that I want to confirm because, when we got copies of the ed specs, from the superintendent, the information that she had provided to us seemed like it was more recent than the final report from DRA. So I just want to confirm a couple more things, that the plan is still to decommission 2 of the existing elementary schools, Mahan and Veterans. I can change this now to Norwich Regional Adult. Bishop
Early Learning Center.
School, hold on, Bishop School Early.
No Bishop,
No school,
no school.
no school.
Oh,
Bishop Early Learning Center.
Mm,
all right. That's good because now I got it in both places. Bishop Early Learning Center, central office. What do we call that up there? Norwich Public Schools Central Office.
And it would be Adult Education Central Office at 201 Hickory.
No, just a special ed central office. You don't want to confuse it with adult ed,
yeah,
Oh.
because there are multiple departments in that building also.
So is special, just to not confuse people, is Special Education Central Office 201 Hickory Street the same?
I believe it's 205 is the,
Is
is
it-
the,
Yeah,
205 is the address on the GIS.
yeah. But is it the same as Hickory Street Administrative Building up here?
Correct.
So should this say Hickory Street Special Education Administration Building
I think the way you have it is fine.
up top? Okay.
Up top.
Okay, so then I'll change that down here. So I'm gonna take the addresses out of here because they're really not pertinent. So this is gonna say Hickory Street Administrative Building and the Norwich Transition Academy at Case Street School is gonna go away. Is this statement accurate? Decommission 2 of the existing elementary schools and then the rest of those buildings?
Well, as decommission them as far as, what their present usage is, but I think in some cases, the future usage is to be determined,
Okay,
so.
should I say
And
that?
I'm not exactly sure on the Transition Academy. I know we just did a remodeling of that building, so whether
mean-
we keep that or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the plan has some ideas about
Yeah.
what we're gonna do with the buildings, but none of that's really written in
Yeah.
stone at this point. I mean, technically, once they cease to be used as a school building, they go back to the city.
Yeah,
So,
well,
so
one
I'm
of,
pretty sure veterans in Mahan are gonna, come into that boat. But the others, they still may be used for something like we were talking about, Aquanic maybe having some usage and
Yeah.
obviously we know Huntington will, but
Okay, so-
there's some others that,
all right. We have a disclaimer at the bottom of this that Mark's comments had me add, so I think we can leave it
Okay.
however we want, really. So then convert the Huntington Elementary School to a central office. I mean, I don't know if we need to say combining staff from these locations.
no,
Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of
No.
that. Then
them,
convert the Waquanic Elementary School to adult education.
that's a possibility.
So I'll leave that as is. We know that the next one is true, building schools on the existing sites of the John B. Stanton Elementary School and Moriarty Environmental Sciences. Moriarty Environmental Science Magnet School, Environmental Science Magnet. Elementary School and Uncas Elementary School and demolish the existing buildings following the construction. Build a new school on the site of the former Greenville Elementary School located at 165 Golden Street. I'm gonna get rid of the Norwich, Connecticut. And then renovate as new or new construction for Teachers Memorial Global Magnet Middle School. It used to say just I think it used to just say renovate as new, and Peter Gauthier
Right.
asked to add or new construction to that statement.
Correct. And the bond issue says that too.
Okay. All right,
Because we're not sure on the assessment of that building, if it
Mhm.
needs to be completely demolished or not.
okay, and I think we're also covered in that it says, at the bottom, these plans are subject to change depending on district needs. Okay, that really takes care of all of the questions that I had. There were a couple other changes in the project rationale, and if you look at the document with the changes, you'll see what was made from the original to now. A lot of the stuff was really simple, so
Yeah, it looked like, there was a bunch of copy and paste stuff here. They had the occasional and or whatever, so, or of, or,
yeah,
so it was a good proof would have picked it up. So, but I know this was, we were kind of rushed getting this thing out to people, so.
and my apologies for those typos. Did anyone have any specific areas they were interested in touching upon within the document? Or had questions about within the document?
For me personally, no. I thought the content with the corrections, I think, pretty much covers it. From my perspective, but so I'll leave it to Mike and Bob to figure if it meets the city's needs. Anyone? Greg Carabine.
Now, the schedule says that we're looking at issuing it on the 31st of May, getting the proposals in the 28th. What are we looking at for the interviews on the 3rd through the 7th? And then we're going to select them. That timeline seems short.
Yeah, I'm not sure about, I think, the interview situation might have to go out a few more days or something like that, because we're talking about the 4th of July there, so I don't think that's gonna be the best time. Let me
Right.
just look at the calendar.
Yeah, but we need to put an estimated interview date in the document so the firms can plan it.
Yeah, I think we start talking about after, maybe the 5th through the 12th or something like that. I don't know. What do we got on there now? Did we say that's on there now?
The
Yeah.
third
So-
through the 7th.
Yeah, well, I don't think the 3rd's realistic. I mean, just because of the holiday, it's gotta be
Yeah.
after. So, I mean, it's gotta be at least, the earliest would be the 5th. So I'm thinking it's probably gonna be more later that week or into the beginning of the next week. So I'd say between the 5th and the 12th.
Okay, so between the 5th and the
Does that
12th.
make sense, people? Yeah,
Yeah,
Greg?
Yes,
Greg's a nod. Okay,
yes.
yes.
all right.
So then
That gives us something to play with there.
the drafting of the conceptual design would have to shift to the 13th because they wouldn't be selected yet.
Correct. All right. Anything else, Mike, that you can see that we need to worry about?
No, I mean, all that does is shorten the conceptual design window by 3 days, and I don't anticipate that that'll make much of a difference at all.
No, hope not. Go ahead, Mark.
Is there anything in there concerning discussions with NPU as to possible changes in infrastructure, underground, sewer, water, electric, other gas?
So as
That,
this, and I took the liberty to add this because I think the location where Peter Gauthier was looking for it may have been incorrect based on the heading that he had put into the into his design comments. There was one section in green, item 28 on his list, scope of services, design development phase deliverable, paragraph 8, building energy requirements. He asked that I add a new paragraph D. The design team shall consult with and obtain the approval of the manager of Norwich Public Utilities for energy options proposed. But at this time, there wasn't anything really in there about NPU. I mean, but when the architect gets on board, typically we wouldn't necessarily tell them who the local utilities are. If you'd like, I can certainly add that.
well, I will say that, I mean, NPU was very active in our Kelly project.
Okay,
when we did Kelly. So I did in the notes I sent you, I don't think it's necessary to say obtain the approval of
okay,
the general manager. But they should be consulted with. And I will tell you that if there's a problem, there, I am really very sure that Chris LaRose is going to let us know that there's an issue. So I have no doubt about that. So I think it's enough to say, consult
okay,
with the
and,
general manager.
okay,
I mean, my main concern is the Greenville site. I mean, that's basically a sloped wall of ledge
Yeah,
that's going to need extensive underground relocation or location of utility services,
Yeah, and
sewer,
that-
water, whatnot.
Exactly, but that's all gonna be worked out in the design process. That's what the architects are being hired for, is to work with the local, it's not out of the ordinary that they work with the local utilities to make sure that they, where they can tap and bring the utilities into the site.
Yeah, and I like that addition for the energy options proposed, especially, I don't know if I know there are certain programs for like EV charging stations, if we're going to include any of that into our
You
parking areas.
you
for
have,
the
you have no
schools.
choice. You have to have 20% of the parking has to be EV.
All right. And then as
I mean,
far
that's
as,
dictated, that was a new requirement. I think it took effect last July 1st. For any new school, 20% of the parking spaces have to be EV, have to be charging stations.
all right, well, I know they have wire charging and then plate charging type systems, so there are
I'm
different.
not sure if I'm not sure if it's specified what type, but we'll have to take a closer look at that.
And then as far as the lead qualifications, that basically that comes after the school has been in operation for a while. You apply for those and whether your energy needs, and after
Well,
they do an
Mark,
assessment.
I can clarify that a little bit for you. So, one of the requirements of the Office of School Construction Grants and Review is that any new school building that they provide grant assistance on needs to comply with the Connecticut High Performance Building Standards, which basically has the same equivalent requirements of LEED Silver anyway. So
we're not anticipating applying for a LEED plaque, let's say. We have to meet the minimum requirements, which equal a LEED Silver equivalency.
Mark, if I could just interject.
Go ahead, Joe DeLucia.
And just to Mark Kulos's statement and to follow up on Jim's, that's going to happen during the design process, Mark, because they get the checklists that they actually have to fill out to qualify for those certifications before the shovels even go in the ground. They already know what the score of the building's going to be, because
That's the way, even back with Kelly, that's what.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe. We have to, we're going to work with the design team. They will identify points. I think it's 28 points that get you to LEED Silver equivalency. However, we try to do more because during the process, we may drop a point here and there. Because practically it wouldn't work, but we try to get, 30, plus points, and and then if we run into a problem with a particular point, we're still safe and still meet the LEED Silver or the high performance building standards.
Yeah.
And this provision also, provides a, it's one area that I think has been successful for a lot of the municipalities that we work with, having the architecture and design team take a look at the building energy requirements and, provide presentations regarding alternative energy to you folks and their financial viability, just so you guys can, see the cost benefit analysis and some of the items that they've considered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not just the initial cost to the building. I want to see savings, for ongoing operations
Right.
Exactly.
throughout the lifetime of the building.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
'Cause that
Anything else?
translates to dollars into the classroom.
All right. Anything else? I'm not seeing anything. All right, if there's nothing else, then there's a motion on the floor. I guess we'll go to roll call vote. We'll get this done. Greg Carabine,
Yes.
Mark Kulos,
Yes.
Sheila Hayes,
yes,
Christine DeStazio,
yes,
Joe DeLucia,
Yes,
Stacy Gould,
yes,
Bill Hull,
Yes.
Greg Balassi,
Yes.
and myself, yes. It's unanimous, 9-0 with 3 absentee. Okay, good. So that we'll refer this to Mike, if you want to forward that to me and to Bob and Mike Driscoll, who's here on the call today.
And, I don't.
Well, I tell you what, just forward it to me and I can forward it to them.
Well, I can get it to Bob. I just don't have Mike Driscoll's email address.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay,
So, yeah, just send it to me and Bob and I'll take care of
Okay.
it. So the other last thing on the agenda is the invoice approval for CSG.
Well, Mark, are we also going to discuss the scoring rubric, or we're all
Oh, that's a good
satisfied
question.
with that?
Well, you know what? We're gonna have a regular meeting before that. You know, before we even get it in, before we get the returns. So we can wait on the scoring rubric. In fact, I think I'm gonna look for volunteers to talk about it. I know Peter sent one, a draft out. So I don't know if anyone's interested in working on setting that up and then presenting it to the committee later.
Well, Mike, did you send out the one that you worked on or no?
Yeah, he did, but he didn't weigh it.
Oh,
He didn't put the weights on it. That's really what, we need to work on.
yeah, you're right. I mean, that's really gonna be kind of the purview of the committee to see what they, what emphasis they want to put on the particular items.
Yeah,
and also if the committee wants to add any other, doesn't like or disagrees with the rating criteria
right.
that I had proposed, because,
So I mean, that can wait. So if anyone's interested in doing that, working on that, I guess you could just email me. And we can do it that way. I'll check with Peter Peter's on a plane right now, so that's why he's not here. But he traditionally likes doing this stuff, so I don't know if anyone else is interested, get back to me. So let's see if we can do the. Hang on, I gotta get my stuff open here. Find my invoices. All right, let's start with invoice 2 for Greenville. It says Greenville Elementary School, which you might want to consider changing. So
Correct.
and that amount is for $16,169.95. A motion to approve, please.
Sheila Hayes, motion to approve.
Sheila, is there a second? Somebody raise their hand or something. Greg?
I second.
Greg Carabine seconds. Any discussion? How are we doing on the dates on this one? Yeah, 1st to 30th. Okay. All right. No discussion. Greg Carabine,
Yes.
Markulos. Oop, he's fading. We'll come back. We'll see. Christine DeStazio,
yes,
Sheila,
Yes,
Joe DeLucia,
yes,
Stacy,
yes,
Greg Balassi,
Yes.
Bill Hull.
Yes.
Mark Kulos dropped out. At least on my board. Let me just check this. Let's see where. All right, so let's see if he comes back in. All right, so that's going to be 8-0 with 4 absent because Mark dropped out of the Zoom for some reason. Looked like he's froze up or something. So then the second invoice. Bring that one up. Oh, there you are, Mark. Good. Oh, you want to put in a vote for that first invoice?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. We'll make it unanimous.
all right.
Nine,
yeah.
9-0. Thank you.
My
Second-
internet dropped out.
Yeah, we saw. So next one is for Stanton in the amount of $15,879.33. Motion to approve.
Sheila Hayes, motion to
Sheila
approve.
Hayes,
Stacy Gould,
second by Stacy. All in favor, well, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Greg Carabine,
yes,
Mark Kulos,
Yes,
Christine DeStazio,
yes,
Sheila Hayes,
Yes,
Joe DeLucia,
Yes,
Stacy Gould,
yes.
Greg Balassi,
Yes.
Bill Hull,
Yes.
and myself as a yes. That's a unanimous 9-0. Folks, I believe that concludes our business for this evening. A motion to adjourn will be in order.
Motion to,
So,
adjourn.
Now, that's Stacy's job. I'm sorry. It's tradition. Stacy, with a motion to adjourn. Could I have a
Sheila
second?
Hayes,
Sheila Hayes with a second. Greg Balassi, yay or nay?
yes.
Do it backwards. Bill Hull,
Yes.
Stacy,
yes.
Joe DeLucia,
yes.
Mark Kulos,
yes.
Christine DeStazio,
yes.
Sheila Hayes,
yes.
Greg Carabine,
yes.
and myself, Mark Betancourt, yes. Motion passes 9-0 with 3 absentee. That will conclude the meeting for this evening. Thanks for everyone's cooperation.